Hello, AP Physics 1, blast from the past here, Mr. Martineau, quarantine edition. My sweet beard has grown back. I shaved it off several weeks ago, but it's back. I hope your beard is doing well if you're indeed male. Um, you may have noticed that we dropped a long form lab for you guys to do over the next, well, 4 classes. Basically, I took 4 lessons on simple harmonic oscillators. I broke them up into 4 chunks. Every day you have class, you're gonna get a new lesson. You are going to fill out the assignment. You're going to send it to me through Classroom. I will look at it, make suggestions, and send it back to you. So every day you're going to be given a chunk of a lab, and I will review it. I will send it back to you, and then you can fix it on a daily basis. So there's no reason to not have a really good grade at the end of all this. It is going to count for 3 lab grades, so it's a biggie, and it's on simple harmonic oscillators. Now you may also have noticed that if you looked at the assignment yet, I'm going to ask you to make or graph the profile of a simple harmonic oscillator in Google Sheets. We need to be able to use the trigonometric functions and able to make this profile of this simple harmonic oscillator. Some of you may not know how to do that. Some of you may know how to do that. But rather than field 1,000 questions on how to put things in the sheets, I decided to make a video. Now I'm going to show you the way that I would do it. I'm professing to you that this is probably not the easiest way, and I'm probably breaking it into more steps than I need to. But the steps in and of themselves are easy. If you know how to do it better than I'm doing it, be my guest. This is for those of you that have not done this before. So today is going to be a very quick introduction on how to do that. Now, keep in mind that most simple harmonic oscillators, they start at an amplitude, and they go to 0, and they go to a negative amplitude. So typically that's a cosine profile. I'm not going to be quite that straightforward. I'm going to show you how to do its sine profile, but I think you can pretty much figure out what to do after that. So here we go. We're going to show you how to do that, and let's see how it goes. All right. I'll take that guy. So what we're going to start with here is a basic sine function. So we have y is equal to sine 2x. So 2x is my argument. Sheets automatically, the default is radians. So you don't need I believe the profile that I gave you isn't in degrees anyway, but you don't have to worry about, do I need to reset it? It's already in radians and you're good to go. Okay, so we have here is our x is our independent variable and y is our independent variable. And what we're doing is we're graphing how y, the amplitude, changes as x changes. And so that's what we're doing here. Typically what you would do in a lab, when I asked you to use sheets before, is that you'd have x and y values of variables. X would be data that you already measured, y would be data that you already measured, but we don't have that. What I'm asking you to do is take values of x and incrementally make them larger and larger and see how y responds to that incremental change. So you are determining, rather than measuring, you're forcing the function to have particular values of x. So that's what we want to try to figure out and input. So it's always, like with sheets, the x variable, the independent variable, is going to start in the A column. That's the easiest way, and I guess it's kind of arbitrary, but it's easy if we're going to show you how to do this, if you start with the x values in the A column. All right? So I'm going to hand it back to my assistant.
Don't touch anything.
Okay, so here we are in sheets. Okay, I have my function over here, just in case I forget what it is. I'm going to start over here at the A column. So A is going to be our x value. You can get right on in. Okay, so A is going to be our x value. And we're going to start with the sign usually starts at 0. So I'm going to start that at 0. Okay, so now we have 0 in for A1. Now here I'm going to do to A2. Now typically what you would do, or what you want to do, is you want to say, okay, I want to get in values of x. So I have small incremental changes. So this is 0, maybe 2 would be 0.1, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, and so on and so forth. Maybe if you're really hardcore, you'd go, this is 0, 0.001, 0.002, 0.003. That's great. But what would take a long time is if you decided to input these manually. So if you wanted to go from 0 to 3 meters in 0.1 increments, you're going to be here for a long time. Well, we don't need to do that. We can tell sheets what to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a formula. So here I am in cell A2. So this is A1. So this is going to be A2. And what I'm going to do here is when you're starting a formula in sheets, you always start with an equal sign. Just tells the computer what to do. And we're going to say, hey, computer, look in cell A1 And whatever's in A1, I want you to add 0.1 to it. Okay, so that's where I'm at right now. So I'm going to go A1, add 0.1. And so I hit enter, and there it is, right? So it took A1 and it added 0.1 to it. Now what I want to do is Sheets is going to assume that you want to make these values bigger by 0.1 all the way down the line. So what we're going to do here is we're going to click back on this guy. See how there's a code, right? This is our computer language, our code. And we're going to go and we're going to hover over that blue box. We're going to click on it and we're going to drag. And we're going to drag and we're going to drag and we're going to drag. And we're going to drag as far as we want. And look, it filled them in automatically from 0 to 3.7. And I stopped at 3.7. Technically, I think it goes down to 10,000. So you're going to be here all day. Okay, so now this is my x value. This is my independent variable. I'm going to come over to, okay, hang on a second. I'm going to come over, so back to A1. Now I'm going to come over to B1. And what, could you hover over here for a second? So now what I want to do is I want to take whatever x is and I want to multiply it by 2. So let's go back over here to B1. So now, unlike the other one, I'm going to start in B1. Thank you for helping me.
Sure.
I'm going to start in B1 and I'm going to tell the computer equal sign A1. Take whatever's in A1 and I want you to multiply it by 2. And what we should get is 0. But there's our code, A1, whatever's in A1 times 2. Come over to here, click the blue box, so you get the plus sign, and we're going to drag it down, all the way down to my last data point here, and it should fill in, and look what I get. It's all the values times 2, which is what I want. Okay, super. So now we have, this is x, and this is 2 times x. Now what I want to do in this column is I want to take the sign of 2x. Not the sign of x, but the sign of 2x. So here's what we're going to do now. Again, we're going to do a command. Now you think probably the computer code for sine is sin, and you're right. The computer code for cosine is cos. Computer code for tangent is tan. All right. So we're going to go equal sign. Tell the computer to do something. Sine. Okay. Then we're going to go parentheses. So now we need an argument. And we're going to tell it what cell to look at. And here's the thing I mess up. You don't need an equal sign in the parentheses. Just tell the computer, look in B1. And there it's looking in B1. So what I would screw up a lot is I go equal sign, sine, equal sign, B1. And that's just going to be an error. So we're going to close out the parentheses. We're going to hit enter. And what we would expect, the sign of 0 is still 0. Once again, going back to here. Now we're going to copy and paste that code into, and we're going to go all the way down. All hellhounds on your trail, boy. Okay, so we're going to go all the way down to my last value, and those are all my values for the sign. So now we're in good shape. Okay, I don't know where I am. There I am. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. All right, so now what we want to do here is we now want to graph the A column and the C column because we don't want the B column. This is y. This is, if you look at the code, it's the sine of 2x. So this is my y output, and this is my x input. I don't want the b. So what do I do now? Again, I'm going to save you guys some heartache here. Okay, come over, we're going to copy and paste. So we're going to come over to the A, not A1, but right above where that guy is. And it's going to highlight the whole thing. Watch this move. Okay, we're going to copy. And we're going to come over here to some arbitrary point. We're going to come over the E column, right? I clicked there. It highlights the whole thing. And very important, paste special, not paste. Paste special. And you want to do paste the values only. So here we go. If you do just paste, it's going to import the code over to here, and then it's going to be a disaster. So you don't want to do paste. You want to do paste special. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over to here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to copy, and we're going to come over to my F column right next to it, and we're going to go paste special, values only. We don't want the codes. Do not put paste. Paste values only. And now this should be fairly commonplace. we're ready to graph. And we're going to pull it all the way down to about here, right? And then we're going to come up to insert right there. And we're going to come down to chart. And boom. And there's my sine function. Now, again, at this point, if anything messes up, you know you have to come over to here. Like sometimes you get wacko values and you got to change this and all that. That's hard to do. I can't explain that in a YouTube video, but it should come up just like that. All right, I'm going to do one more thing and then I'm done. So,
That's beautiful.
isn't that nice? So again, what you're doing is you're telling the computer what values to put in. You're not using any measurable things. So now, again, I know the argument I gave you wasn't as easy as 2x. It was like 157 something, something, something. But it doesn't matter because it's just a computer. What I didn't do is that this guy had an amplitude of 1. This function has an amplitude of 1. Well, what if the amplitude was something different? That's fairly easy. We're going to come over here. Again, keep in mind that C, let me go over here to the up a little bit. Thank you. That C is the sine of 2x. So if I want to say do 4.3 times the sine of 2x, I'm going to go tell the computer equal sign C1, that's the sine of 2x, times 4.3. I'm doing something arbitrary. So again, it's going to be 0. I'm going to come to here. Almost done. And we're going to come all the way down. And those are all my values. And once again, I'm going to do, instead I'm going to copy and paste. Again, it can be totally arbitrary. Oops, yep. So I'm going to go copy, and I'm going to come over here to arbitrary point H. Special. So special. So very special. Okay, and we're going to come over here. That's okay. This was my, this one. And then we got this, and we're going to copy, and then we're going to come over here, and we're going to paste special. Isn't that special? And we're going to come over here, and we're going to do like we did before. And that, and then, oops, I don't want to do that. Ah! Thanks for bearing with me for 13 minutes. Hold on. I got to finish this thing off. Again, it doesn't matter that I didn't go all the way through. And I'm going to come over here to insert. And I'm going to go down to chart. And boom. And there it is. And look, the amplitude is 4.3 and negative 4.3. So it's exactly what we wanted. All right. So I'm going to come back to me. Oh, you hold it. Thank you. So that's that. Hopefully that clears things up in terms of commands and codes and all that stuff. It's really not too bad. Just kind of look back on the video when we need to. Our arbitrary neighbor's cat is currently making itself at home. Take a look at the cat. That is not our cat. It just comes by and says hi. I don't understand. I hope everybody's doing well, and please email me if you have any questions. Thanks, guys. Peace.